All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us as we delve into the second topic of discussion. The Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, has emphasized that politicians who speak negatively about Nigeria, particularly on social media, should not be considered for presidential positions. Speaking at the Abuja Social Media Summit, Fagbemi highlighted the detrimental impact of such behavior on the nation's image and unity. Fagbemi stressed that political differences should not lead to the demarketing of Nigeria on the international stage. He argued that only unpatriotic citizens or leaders will choose to disparage their country for political gain. Additionally, a journalist has been sent back to prison after being accused of sharing critical content of the Kano State Governor and the Emir, Mukhtar Dahiru, a staff member of Radio Nigeria, who was initially charged with criminal conspiracy, defamation of character, and intentional insult. He was initially granted bail with a condition of 1 million naira bond and the provision of sureties. The chairperson of the Nigerian Union of Journalists and the chairperson of Nigerian Union of Journalists, Dahiru's wife, and a reputable individual, endorsed by the Kano Hisbar Board. The court adjourned the sitting to October 2. However, he was arrested 2 days after he was released on bail and sent to Komawa Correctional Facility. We still have in the studio with us Dr. Ganiyu Oluwashola and Mr. Dele Fanimo. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Dr. Ganiyu, you heard what the AGF said, that if you speak negatively about Nigeria, you should not be given a presidential position, apparently meaning that you should not become Nigeria's president if you criticize the government. Dr. Ganiyu, where are we headed to?
You see, there are things, there are major things we need to, when we begin to major on the minor and minor the major. As we speak today, everybody is speaking negative about Nigeria. So why are you talking about the presidency, right? So, which means that in other words, you are just targeting some class of people in your mind that, oh, don't go outside there because you want to become a president and disclose what is happening in-house. You see, Nigeria is not a mushroom country. It's the giant of Africa. So there's nothing that happens in Nigeria that is not at the global space. Even if you don't say about it, they knew about it. Even you talking about it also lay some credence or also reduce people's tension. If you go outside the country, the assumption is that once you step into the north side of Nigeria, you'll be bombed or you'll be kidnapped. That is the imagination they have. Some people come into Nigeria, they just tell them, don't go here because these are what. So there are a lot of negative things. So these are things I just say that are leaders. It's an example for us to, we should be able to reflect, we should be able to do something that is good so that because in the global space they see. Take for instance, now you talk about negative things. As we speak now, you've gone ahead to say that you want to borrow another $1.7 billion. For what? At this time. So the question is that what do you want to use it for? So somebody now analyzing the current state of Nigeria with this fund coming in now, analyzing it, you said they're speaking negativity. So negativity, now once you're talking about negative, it's also relative. Are you abusing? Are you cursing? Or are you saying because these are statistics. Statistics speaks for itself.
Talking about negativity, because I like for us to marry perception and reality. You made mention of when you go outside, they say if you go to Nigeria, don't step into the north because you are going to be kidnapped, you'll be bombed and all of that. Isn't that what is happening? And is the Attorney General asking Nigerians not to criticize the government? Is it an extension of the gag of the media, which we are seeing happening by the arrest, with the arrest of whistleblowers, journalists? There's a clampdown on the civil society. Is there a subtle way of telling Nigerians, no, leave this government, don't talk about this, don't even criticize this government?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's not what is happening 100%. It's been overhyped. You understand? It's not that when you get to the north, you'll be kidnapped or bombed immediately. It's just because it's been overhyped. But the thing is just like, if you're doing what is right, you'll be confident to let it know to the public.
Yes, like I said, perception and to match perception and reality. That is the perception. But if you go to the north, there's a whole lot of kidnapping. People are being killed, not just in the north, in other parts of the country. So shouldn't we talk about these things?
No, it should be. That's why I said that when you talk about negativity, negative statement, it's also relative. In terms of negative statement, what are the things you are saying? Are you speaking to the fact? Because the fact talks about the statistics we have, what is happening in the country, the situation of the economy, right? You could say now the man that is also telling them to sign peace accord, it came out yesterday. The former president of the country saying that, Nigeria, the suffering is high, that the government should step into the space. So when you want things to change, you must correct the perception. You must correct the perception and show to the world that you are actually towing the right.
So that it reflects the reality.
It's going to reflect the reality. There are perceptions. Indeed, there are perceptions. The perception might not be 100% right, but you are the one that is going to show to the world and say that this is what I'm doing, and you are going to speak that, these are 1, 2, 3 we have done for the citizen of Nigeria. Come in and you will see that these are what we are doing.
Mr. Fanimo, you are a journalist. They say you should stop talking.
I'm a reporter.
You are a reporter. They say you should stop talking. What do you make out of it? You shouldn't criticize the government.
You see, what Lateef Fagbemi...
Assuming you have a presidential ambition, you shouldn't talk.
What Lateef Fagbemi actually meant was not what was reported. I know Lateef Fagbemi very well. He's not a flippant person. Now that he's in government, maybe something has changed in him. But this is a very brilliant lawyer that he was the youngest son
to what he
Nigeria has
so
produced.
tell us exactly what he said. And
just
what he
hold
meant.
on. Well, I'm just trying to lay in premise for you to understand where I'm going to.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that the only aspect that I feel concerned about is when he emphasized those who want to be president. I don't know what he meant by, or perhaps who he had in mind when he was making that statement. But on the whole, what he's saying is instructive. America is not an El Dorado. Americans protect America to the extent that when they want to showcase America, they showcase the good side of America and not the bad side. That is to the extent of patriotism. You understand? And that if that is what is appealing to us, using that particular day to talk about how we need to showcase Nigeria to the outside world.
America, you made mention of, is a state or a nation where insecurity have not really been bedeviling them to the point that we have in Nigeria. Nigerians are staying in IDP camps to start with. And even in the IDP camps, they are still being kidnapped. Nigerian military the other day was, everywhere because of a video made by the bandits or a terrorist group that took over our, armored tank. Nigeria is also a country where they will have bandits themselves now on social media platforms displaying stacks of cash that they made from terrorism activities. Mr. Fanimo, are you still now saying that the picture or the words of Nigerians about Nigeria should have come in a sugar-coated way instead of the way it's been presented?
Now, let me tell you, this America you're talking about, I am not a spokesperson of this government. You understand? But I know what I'm talking about. This American you're talking about, there are pockets of killings in America.
The fact that you use the word pockets.
And at the same time, there is a plan to amend firearm laws in America.
Exactly.
It was not just in isolation. It was as a result of certain things happening in that space. Now, what I'm saying is, for the sake of patriotism, we may highlight, but not to the extent.
So we should, in other words, we should progress with error. Because my friend was kidnapped in Port Harcourt. This happened just last week. A friend of mine was kidnapped.
Has anybody said there is no kidnap?
What we're saying is, what I'm trying to get now, Clara, is this. If, for example, I want to report about Nigeria, and someone asks me, maybe there's a memo to say, okay, what do you have to say about the issue of kidnapping in Nigeria? Someone I know was kidnapped in Nigeria, and I want to write that report. Am I supposed to take out the fact that I have someone who have witnessed, forced-hand kidnap, there was ransom paid, and then there was also the issue of beating and all that on this particular person when I want to give the report because I want to make Nigeria look better?
Fina, let me amplify what Fina said. Given the fact that media is terrestrial now, anything that happens in one part of the world, it resonates in not any other part of the world. So it doesn't even need a presidential candidate to tell the global community what is happening in Nigeria.
You see, look back at that statement. It's saying that a presidential candidate or aspirant should not disparage Nigeria.
Should not demarket Nigeria.
To not demarket Nigeria. It doesn't mean that as journalists, what we see, we distort. We report what we see. But let me tell you, the weight of a presidential aspirant or a presidential candidate or somebody who had been presidential candidate before or probably lost an election, the weight of his statement carries more weight than when we report. What we are saying is that let reporters report.
Okay.
But giving a stamp at that level could trigger a lot of reactions.
Okay, now Dr. Oluwashola, let me come to you. The likes of Peter Obi, the likes of Atiku Abubakar have talked about this present administration, talking about the policies, how it's affecting Nigerians. And also, we saw what happened on the 1st of August, it's the 10th of August, how Nigerians come out in mass to say, we want to protest, #end bad governance. They are not trying to say any other thing. The only thing they have is their agenda. Please, can we get a reduction in fuel pump price? Can food be available for Nigerians to eat? Can we even cut the issue of insecurity? For example, in Benue State, people are paying ransom, or people are even paying taxes. Let me put it that way. Taxes in Benue State to people who don't want them to go to farm, food basket of the nation. And we have people that protested being slammed with treasonable felony, as a case may be. So reporting such case, or talking about it, or chiming into it now, does not mean I'm not really a patriotic citizen.
Honestly, Nigerians are not asking for more. They are not asking more. We just want to eat. We want to get clothing. We want to be able to breathe, right? We want to be able to get this fuel. It's a natural commodity that was given to us as natural resources, and we are paying through our trough to get it, right? You mentioned there's a full fire over there
in
Benue State.
Yeah.
There is a Tuji Bello that is rattling Castina, Samfara, and Sokoto, and nobody is doing anything over there, right? And also ask me, don't just let us go far. Before the President Buhari came to power then, what was the thing he used to whittle the presidential of the good Lord Jonathan? Oh, there are killings in the north, here and there, things are getting bad. Is that not it? When they staged a protest at Ojota here, what was it? Are they saying to the global, oh, Nigeria is good, oh, the fuel is it? Are we saying that, oh, let the poor breathe, right? Reduce the fuel price and give it to Jonathan. He answered the call. It's a clarion call, right? Then ask me, since this current regime has come to power, how many clarion calls have they answered to, right? Instead of the fuel price to be nosediving, as we speak today, it's almost 1,000 naira, right? I bought a fuel as around over 900 naira this month per liter, right? So you now say that how many clarion calls are we used to? Do we make the food available as been expected? As we speak now, but the house fee is getting, it's going, our naira is devaluing day in, day out. These are the necessary things. That's why we call it a democratic government.
Okay.
We need to speak out so that the government will hear the cry of Nigeria and see how they can come to ameliorate. We are not saying you should eradicate it. Let Nigeria be able to stay in a country and happy. We don't want to, we want a place where it's safe for Nigeria to stay, right? So that we exist. So then when I just want to say, if we are coming out and say people are saying negative things, you need to clarify it. Look at what the guy did in Kano. That guy should be jailed. On honestly, by saying that the sitting governor and they've been sentenced to, even if it's in Lagos or anywhere in Nigeria, something bad might have even happened. Why will you write and say that your sitting governor and the emir is being sent to prison? Those are the things that needs to be, even when you are reporting, you need to be careful. It's a defamation of character and it should not be allowed. Those kind of things we talk about. But when we talk about things that has to do with life, security and welfare of citizens, it should be taken into, put into proper perspective and ensure that things are done appropriately.
All right, I'm going to start with you now, Dr. Oluwasola Ganiyu. Taking the statement of the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, he said he did emphasize that politicians who speak negatively about Nigeria, particularly on social media, should not be considered for presidential positions. Atiku Abubakar has spoken. Well, it's now a case of defining whether it's negative statement or, basically just criticizing the policies of this administration. But he has spoken. He has spoken on social media. Social media basically is a medium where every other person gets to speak through. X.com in particular. Peter Obi has spoken on social media. These were presidential candidates in the past elections. A lot of other Nigerians have spoken as to how hunger is bedeviling the people, how the government should do better. Would that be considered a negative statement? Well, it's now up to people to decipher and analyze. But the Attorney General of the Federation making this statement, what implication does this have, especially when it comes to election petitions?
With that statement,
because if any of these individuals, I mean, if this is taken seriously, and any of these individuals have to contest the results of elections in a court of law in future elections, do you think they will be regarded? Do you think their case will be considered, or would it be put on the premise of, oh, at some point you spoke negatively about Nigeria, you made Nigeria look bad within the international community, and so let's not even give you a chance?
So if they go through that route, that actually withdrew the position and also the law.
But should we be concerned that this is coming from the AGF?
We should, because though you see, in some school of thought we could look at it, but in this school of thought we have, it shouldn't have said that, right? Because it also see what is coming in. So if you are coming to make statement at that level, we make statement of facts, right? We make statement that are evidential. We make if it is a statement coming that is negative in court, that's when we talk about, oh, these are criminal in nature. This could trigger a lot of issue and could collapse the economy, right? Those are the things. But if they are statement of fact, all you just need to go to the drawing board and see what you can do better, right? And we also be careful of statements we make, because those statements also could also come back to us. When we are at the global space, they will ask you that, why do you make this statement? So statements so we need to look at things very well. And in our statement, there's some level of position we get to. We must not politicize our statement to ensure that we don't make some statement that it's going to affect our person or our level of professionalism when we get to the...
You see, it takes me to the point of saying that there's no way you can play politics, there is no way you can campaign if you do not highlight the policy flaws, policy inconsistencies of the current administration. It doesn't happen only in Nigeria. Look at what is happening in the US. Trump has been busy hammering, on the policies of Joe Biden. It happens in the UK between the Labour and the Conservatives and all of that. So in the light of this, it seems to me as Lateef Fagbemi, he is flying a kite to see Nigerians' reactions. Because, like Moses said, is there a possibility that this could come out as a law before the 2027 general election? It can't
come out as a law because
but we have seen, members of the National Assembly fly these kites around us.
Yeah, do you know people,
and we were able to shoot them down.
People stood it against them. They said that don't abuse people in office. So I don't see where they have the effrontery and the courage. When you were there, outside there, you were speaking to the people in office. So that's why some people,
not just people highlighting
some school of thought even says that this government, the way they work, is even more tougher than the military regime. Right? There's no how you are there to represent people. There's what we call check and balance. People must not be giving you thumb up. Even when you were not there, you were also criticizing people that were in those to show that they can do better. That's why I said that when you talk about negative statement, it's relative. You need to come out and say that these are the negative statements, and we will see. That's what we come in my school, in my line of business. We look at the impact analysis. Is it going to trigger positive impact or negative impact? Look at what happened to Sowore. He came into the country, immediately you arrested him. Though you release him, but what warrant it? So we should not do something in a way that will affect people and say that once I say something today, the next day I'll meet myself where I shouldn't meet myself.
Okay, let me come to Mr. Dele Fanimo now. I'm going to ask you the same question. And, well, you know the man. You said it on this table, that you know the man, and you can assume what he meant, or you know what he meant. But do you see a situation whereby this will play any impact when it comes to electioneering, when it comes to contesting the results of elections? Seeing that Atiku Abubakar spoke during the hunger protest that happened. He spoke, he did say, yes, Nigerians are hungry, and this administration should do a whole lot more than just give out handouts. That can be perceived as speaking bad against the government, especially within the international community. It's a matter of perspective now. Peter Obi has also spoken against the policies of this administration. And, well, you do also recall, as a reporter that you are, that Peter Obi was fingered for being part of the sponsors of the the protest that took place in August. Yeah. And, you know, in as much as that has not been proven anywhere, but with his statements, do you see any implication of this statement by the AGF when it comes to elections in the future?
It's not going to be a law, and I don't see it becoming a law anyway. That's one. Two, the man has just expressed his opinion.
So we shouldn't be worried.
There's no need to be worried about it because, one, you see, there is a borderline. You can criticize policies in good faith, believing that you are being patriotic to some extent, to the extent that you are saying, well, this policy is wrong. And if you criticize policies,
a lot of Nigerians that have criticized.
If you criticize policies, it is also good that you proffer solutions or alternatives to that to such policies. That's when you are showing patriotism. You don't just criticize for criticizing sake. If you tell me that my glasses is bad,
so is it up to opposition?
You should tell me to go to an optician to go and fix it.
Is it now up to the opposition to instruct this administration on how to do? It's not instruct.
You are showing them.
So I criticize and then I give you ideas.
You can criticize and give ideas on what should be done to at least, ameliorate the sufferings of the masses.
The opposition should help this administration to govern better.
I don't think anybody should hold anybody to account on the basis of saying we are hungry in Nigeria, security is bedeviling us and all that. But what I'm saying is that there's an extent to which you get that there's a way you can talk to me that I will listen to you, and there's a way you can talk to me that I will see that what you are saying is laced with malice.
Okay, now, Mr. Fagbemi,
I'm not Fagbemi.
Mr. Fanimo, sorry about that. Mr. Fanimo, now, what happens when the government itself demarcates itself in the public space? For example, we saw how our presidential fleets were seized, how the buildings we have also were being taken by a firm. This happened in the international space. And what does this speak about Nigeria as a sovereign nation? Nigerian government had to go to, kind of bargain, which London or court in London also said no to over that particular, agreement.
That incident happened in 2007. Okay? So it took them time to be able to lay their hands on federal government.
I'm happy you said 2007. So why didn't they, find a way to, come around and make sure they finish it before it has to get
you see,
to this point?
You see, law. They say the law is an ass. If there's a judgment over a dispute, and you don't vacate that judgment, the fact that that judgment is not executed does not mean that that judgment is dead. Okay? What happened was there was a judgment in this case over breach of contract. One would have expected that Ogun State government, the Attorney General of Ogun State, would have gone back to court to say, we are not pleased with this judgment. But they left it without addressing that judgment. And it's not statute bad.
All right, let's move away from this conversation now. Let's get into another conversation that is of interest to a lot of Nigerians. Now, just yesterday, a man who has been accused of mismanaging funds, I don't know how this will be perceived in the international community, talking about speaking ill against the government or wanting to contest elections. Yahaya Bello, that's the conversation. Yahaya Bello, eventually, after 4 months, since April, eventually decided to honor the invitation of the EFCC. And he went with some sort of entourage. The governor of Kogi State accompanied him, and a few other reputable individuals, respected individuals, accompanied him to the EFCC. Well, he said he went to the EFCC. We saw pictures of him. Later, yesterday night as well, according to him, he said the EFCC did not detain him. They actually didn't even question him. EFCC came out and said, look, he's not with us. Yesterday night, there was a report from the Yahaya Bello media team that the EFCC raided the Kogi State government house in Abuja, basically, to arrest him. What do you make of that? Saying that there is some monies, 80.2 billion naira hanging around this, and how the Nigerian government or a government agency has lingered in bringing him to the court. I mean, cases in court, he has not been appearing, even though you might say he has been represented by his lawyer, but he's not been appearing. And juxtaposing that with the invitation and arrest of Joe Ajaero.
You see, last night we were here to discuss the same matter, and I see it as a way of embarrassing Nigeria. EFCC came out poorly yesterday on this matter. If somebody is a fugitive and you have been trailing that person, and you claimed early in the morning that during a sting operation, you were able to arrest this man, the media aide of this one said, you didn't arrest him. He voluntarily surrendered to you. And before midday, the social media, the media space was awash with pictures of the man majestically walking into your office with the picture of the edifice clearly at the background when he was going out again, with the current governor of Kogi State, Adodo, bestriding him, and even security agents were behind them, either protecting Yahaya Bello or the sitting governor. And these are your operatives. When you see a governor, the man wearing suit behind him is the chief detail, and chief details come from DSS. So look at the picture. Now, those men in dark glasses are security operatives. And it's likely that the chief detail of Adodo is the one in dark glasses.
Nigeria demarketing itself. Really? Looking at this.
Especially when the same EFCC came out to say this man is still
wanted. So look at that picture. That is the background. When you look at that background, you know that that's EFCC headquarters in Abuja. And this is the man that is being declared wanted, walking majestically out of EFCC office.
So what do you,
with the current governor beside him.
What's your take on all of this?
The thing is, I said it, there is need to overhaul EFCC.
So EFCC is the one that has...
They goofed yesterday, I tell you. They goofed yesterday.
What do you think happened?
Why they goofed is because they were playing on words. What they would have said is, this man came, we discovered that we settled this matter and that he has agreed or signed an agreement that he will appear in person in court, the next adjournment.
Okay.
But not that when you have all the pictures in the media space and you are still denying that. And on the same breath, you are even saying that the man that came to your office, walked out freely, is now still declared wanted that same day.
This same money has been returned to the government by the by the school. Am I right? Yes.
But he has other money laundering charges against him on his head.
Okay.
So, Doctor, what's your opinion on this?
You see, this social media buha. The EFCC came and said it's false, it's fake, right?
The picture is fake?
These are their word against theirs, right? They say it's false. Look at their statement. They say it's false. It didn't come, right? Because it's their spirit. Right? You come, we've been looking for you, and you're working majestically. Even if you use voodoo, right? And you just work out, and our brain just came alert and said, well, where is this guy? And we ran after you in the evening. It's because it does not have an handshake. It does not correlate, right? You come in the morning and you said that your media space said that you came in the morning and we allow you to go. What's on heart? What would EFCC say that they did not see him, right? And that's why in the evening...
Because of time, quickly, is there a place where immunity should be stepped down? Seeing the activities, the activities of Usman Ododo, the governor of Kogi State, shielding his, the person he took over from in the government house, shouldn't the Constitution or the law have a position where immunity will be stepped down for justice to take place?
No. This is where caution is being thrown to the wind. But before I answer that question, remember,
in a few minutes.
I will do that, right? Who sent the picture to the social media? It is because at EFCC, don't we have journalists there? Why not other people put it up? Why is it their own? These are things we should look at the handshake.
Are you insinuating that the picture might have been photoshopped?
Or perhaps it would have been a thing in the past, right? Okay. Because we have journalists. The picture should have come from independent personnel, right? This is their word again. If it's a true thing, the social media will be, we see journalists that are always at the gate of the EFCC, they would have captured, they would have put it on there that these are true. And another thing, when we talk about immunity is just for the governor, not for his associate.
Yeah, but
right.
But you know how
that is where caution.
As Africans,
that is where caution is thrown to the wind, right? If we actually want to follow laws to the suit, you don't match two people together, right? That is what we call in the school of law. That's what is called a company is different from the other, right? You are a sitting governor. You owns the immunity. Anyone clinging to you does not enjoy the immunity. So at that point in time, in real sense, they should allow him to go and all the second person to speak for himself, right? So that's why you saw that in line with our Nigerian constitution, that's why you see there's fault there. That's what we call equity, fairness, and justice.
All right, we are absolutely out of time. So in less than
please, let me just say something.
Excuse me, I'll come to you, please. In less than 1 minute, I'd like you to give us your concluding thoughts.
Yeah, I will just
say... You can merge the two issues.
most importantly is that the EFCC are still saying that it has questions to answer, right? So I would just advise that, say, let us do what is right, irrespective of who you are. And Ododo should also ensure that one day he's going to leave office. There will always be nemesis will always cry, there will be precedents. And we should also say that the government should not just be talking about people saying negative things. They should look into the drawing board and see how they could better the life of an average Nigerian, because Nigerians are passing through hard time that they've not seen before in the history of the country.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Dr. Oluwasola Ganiyu. Your concluding thoughts as well.
Yaya Bello was in EFCC office yesterday, and I'll tell you why. An editor of a national newspaper that is resident in Abuja sent his reporter, and the reporter will not tell lies that Yaya Bello was not in the EFCC office. And I have his chat with me. While the program was going on yesterday, I had a chat with him. So that somebody photoshopped and put in the social media, that's not true.
Okay, so what's your take, really?
Now, the other one...
EFCC goofed?
EFCC goofed.
Okay.
They didn't manage it well.
Okay. So what may have happened?
Yaya Bello's appearance is just to show you that the gods had been appeased. And
the law is for a selected few.
The gods have been appeased, and they have given him a clean bill of health. You will see what will happen next. Yaya Bello will appear in court, and then there will be plea bargaining, and the case will go. That's what will happen, because he has gone back to his vomit. He has begged those he has offended, and they have forgiven him. That's why he's coming into the open.
So would that be your concluding thoughts?
Well, Nigeria is a theater of absurd.
That's a terrible way to end it. But I must say, a very big thank you.
But I thank God I'm not contesting as president.
Okay. Well, we have been discussing with Dr. Ganiyu Oluwasola, who is managing partner, KJB Professional Services, and Dele Fanimo, who's a journalist, a social critic, a political analyst, and VOP in-house analyst. All right, let's add that to it. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for staying with us on the program.
Always my pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a break now. When we come back, trends will be on the table. Stay with us.